Hello, everybody, and welcome back to CLX Foundry Live. And we've got a very, very special kickoff to the month of December here. I'm your host, DJ Blue PDX, and of course, joining us live from our studios in Wichita, Kansas, it is our lead technical expert, Paul Steffens, and today's master builder, Zach Killingsworth. Gentlemen, boy, we've got some fun today. First, we've got a beastie box to put together for Alipira Alipi. We're not sure how to say it, but we'll go with one of them in Alaska. However, I know everybody's all freaking out. They want to know if they won the PC, which we'll take a look at here for just a second. Today, we're going to be announcing the winner of our PC giveaway for the month of November in partnership with Beacon. That includes not only a Beacon mix crate, but a Beacon mic as well. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Those brand new D30 fans. It's an all-white build. It's a gorgeous PC. We're super excited to see who is going to be going home with this today. Now, with that being said, you all have waited long enough, and you're gonna have to wait a little longer because we'll do that a little bit later in the show. But right now, let's take a look at what's going inside of this box.
All right, so we have a custom configured draw off our website. So starting out, we've got the Intel Core i7 14700KF for our processor. To cool that, we've got a CLX Quench 360 AIO. For our motherboard, we've got the MSI MPG Z690 Edge Wi-Fi. And for our memory, we've got 2 sticks of Kingston 16 gigabyte DDR5 6000 speed memory. Sorry, I think we're going with the G-Skill. I read that wrong. Yeah, the G-Skill Trident Z5. For our storage, we've got an ADATA 1 terabyte 700 gold NVMe M.2 drive. And for our video card, we've got a Zotac RTX 4070. I think we've used one of these 4070 models before, but it's been a while. For our case, we obviously have the O11 XL in black. We've got 10 of our GameDS Aeolus RGB fans going inside this. And for our power supply, we've got the Corsair RM850E fully modular. Nice.
Nice. Yeah, this is gonna be a good build. Okay, so let's get started. Then we've done, we spent a little while doing a bunch of NV5s in a row. The last couple ones have been O11s. We've talked a lot about this case. This is also the case that I have behind me. It's a really unique case. It's got some really cool features to it. So why don't we start off talking about that, Paul?
Yeah, so the overall design of this case just looks really good. I mean, you can see this a lot in the PC world right now, just kind of this overall look. But what I like about this case specifically is that we've got these 2 hard drive bays in the back, and these have our SATA data and SATA power cables built into them. So you just have to slide your drive in and they automatically connect, which is nice. So they're hot swappable. So that's probably my favorite thing about this case. Other than that, it just looks really great.
Let's see here. We've got Tanner, Darkest Light, and Northwind Tweak over on the red side. I see Zombie Rain. Sharon. Hey, look, it's Temperance over on the purple side, and over here on the green side, the blue side. I wish. We've got Leslie Violet is in the house. Gage Raiders back. Oldarian, Pebbles. Good to have everybody here. Glad to see you all. If you guys have any questions, by the way, if you hear us say something, if you hear us say something that maybe doesn't make sense or you're just not sure what the term is, make sure you ask that question in here because it is definitely something we love to do. I'm literally, there's Vex, what's up? I'm kind of sweating right now because before the show, I had my own little moment of panic because my capture card that I've had for, I'm gonna say 5 or 6 years, finally died on me.
No.
Finally died. Yep, and so I couldn't figure out what to do because I was trying to figure out what the problem was. Was it the 3090 on this? You know, what just happened?
Oh no.
Did you see that?
Gotcha. Okay. Let's go like that then.
I don't know if the glue back.
Right?
We're back.
So, one of the things I just wanted, that reason I bring it up is because of baseline troubleshooting for people. I can walk you through what I did to figure it out. So when I couldn't get any pass-through, I checked the settings. I checked to make sure the card was mounted, like it hadn't come loose. And then I checked the cables by plugging different things in, including my laptop, to the monitors and to see if it would pass through. when I plugged my laptop into the cable coming out of the 3090, going into the pass-through for the monitor, I noticed that it didn't work. When I plugged it directly into the monitor, it worked. So then I plugged the 3090 directly into another monitor. That came up, so I knew it was the capture card. I pulled it, replaced it. Thank God for AverMedia having sent me backups. But that's how I managed to get it all. It took us a little bit longer than I wanted to. But that being said, Paul, what are some really good, I would say, approaches to baseline troubleshooting when it comes to your system?
Step one is it plugged in? Step two is the switch turned on? And step three is turn it off and turn it back on again. And that's going to solve 99% of your issues. Then, after that is when you can really start digging into it and, Googling your issues and finding that out. Google's your friend. I've used it a ton when I'm troubleshooting computers, so.
Yeah. Hey, it's Tech Sean's in the house. What up, Sean? How are you? Good to see you, dude. Oh, reciprocal. Hello. All right. So now we're putting in a great processor for this board. The board, of course, we'll talk about that in a second. This is an Intel Core i7 14700KF. Tell the people what that means.
So this is a 14700KF, like you mentioned. So the K means it's unlocked, which means we can overclock it. In this build, the customer did select CPU and GPU overclocking. So we will do that, later on after the system's built. But this is a 20-core, 28-thread processor. We got 8 P cores, also known as performance cores, that have hyper-threading to give us 16 threads. Then we've got 12 E cores, efficiency cores. And then it's got a base speed of 3.4, and it'll boost up to 5.6.
Awesome. Okay. Now, obviously, as we see the crucial element known as thermal paste getting applied right there, I will tell you a little bit about this motherboard. It's cool. It's an MSI MPG Z690, which is a great motherboard. This is actually, I would say this is on the upper end of the swing there for that. It's got some great connectivity in it. It also has Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3, a multitude of USB ports all over the place, including a USB 3.2x2 20 gig USB-C port, which is pretty rocking. Has multiple M.2 slots, so lots of different places to plug things in. It's definitely a great board. Paul, what are some other great features about this board?
Yeah, so this is their MPG, so it's definitely their higher end side, MSI's higher end side of boards here. Got a lot of M.2 slots, which I like. Plenty of USBs on the I/O with a Type-C. It does have onboard Wi-Fi, which we're seeing a lot more nowadays. Pretty nice to have that if you're in one of those situations. It's going to look really nice in this build. You can see it's got a lot of black and gray tones around it, so that'll match the build nicely.
Nice. Okay. Now we're getting that AIO going in there. That, of course, is a CLX Quench 360 AIO. And while we do answer this all the time, who knows what an AIO is? And Paul, what does it mean? What does it do? Why is it
so an AIO stands for an all-in-one. So you can see right here, we've got our pump, the cap. We can show that, yep. So we're putting our cap back on here. That's where everything's at, and obviously the radiator and the tubes. This comes with fluid already in it. That's why it's called an all-in-one. You don't have to do anything to this other than just install your mounting hardware to the motherboard, and you're good to go. So these provide excellent cooling, are very easy to install. So definitely recommend going with an AIO.
Nice. Okay. Hopefully that's better right there. I just turned the mic up just a skosh. A little more? Okay, how about that? Okay. Yep. Just want to make sure everybody can hear me. Okay. Now we're getting that pump all lined out there. Now this is always an interesting and tricky thing because this always makes me afraid, like, what happens if that cable gets warm?
Yeah, so that cable, it's got obviously its shielding on it, but it'll be just fine. What you want to be careful for, we wrap this cable kind of around the posts here. just because that gives us a really good look. It hides the cable nicely. You can't see it. But what you want to be careful if you're going to do it this way is that you don't get that cable in between the AIO plate and the processor itself. We have seen that happen, and you'll notice it once you turn your system on. It will start to overheat, but yeah, you just want to make sure, tighten down your AIO before you route that cable.
There we go. Sorry, I had to make sure I was seeing the right thing here. Okay, now we've got our RAM. This is going to be some fun. This is actually two 16 gig sticks of G.Skill DDR5 6000. I love this RAM. In fact, I'm pretty sure, no, I have Kingston. So yeah, it's 32 gigs of some exceedingly fast RAM. So super jazzed about that.
Yeah, this is right at the leading edge here. Very fast DDR5 memory. I'm a big fan of G.Skill. The first PC that I built back in the day had some red G.Skill rip jaws. That was back in the DDR3 days. So
Heck yeah.
G.Skill's been around for a while. Always been a good brand.
No, yeah, definitely. So the other day I read multiple threads of people collectively agreeing that every Red Dragon power supply is terrible. Is that true? And if so, then why?
A Red Dragon power supply, I couldn't tell you. I've never used one of those.
Bootstrap Gaming, it's looking good. Yeah, this is gonna be a fun build, especially in this case. Yeah, Surf and Honey Badger asked a great question, so everybody knows. Do we have to be present in chat to win the prize? No, we don't. Also, you're an EMT. Thank you for your service, sir. Saving lives. Yeah, you'll get an email from Surf, so keep an eye on your emails. But also, we'll announce it here on the show. So there you go. It's me, Cherry says G.Skill Trident Z Royal still looks the best. Interesting.
Yeah, G.Skill, the Trident Z Royal, that's some extra stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say.
But so
That's
what
not
is it?
really, it's like,
It's got diamonds on the end of it, man.
looks like
It is
gold.
gold. It is silver.
What?
It is.
Yeah.
It is bougie.
yeah, it's some fancy stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm literally gonna look this up right now because now
It's-
I'm intrigued.
The packaging
much
for it
intrigued.
is
Yeah.
just as extra as well. You get like this box, and it's like two perfectly inlaid sticks with foam cutouts and everything. It's pretty cool.
Okay. This is
Oh wow! What
do that on
in the world?
this way.
Okay, that is pretty pimp.
It's pretty
Looks-
Yeah.
with a pretty penny behind it.
yeah, it's definitely that's some expensive stuff right there.
I haven't seen. Are they on DDR5 yet?
I haven't
With
seen it, but I
Ross?
assume they are. You know, I bet it exists, but we haven't seen an order come in with it yet. We've gotten like, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 orders, customer specifically requesting
those
that.
are like
so
the open
we'll special order it.
loops.
Yeah.
Where they're getting
So,
bent tubes and
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow! This is just gorgeous.
It's a little much for me, but it's cool. I'm glad it exists.
Yeah, that is wild. I'm glad that you brought it up over there. It's me, Cherry. Let's see here. Catching up on some of the chat. The good old days, right? We'll write you a handwritten letter to let you know you won. No, because you wouldn't really know what it says. I write like I should be a doctor. I don't know what happened. I used to have flawless penmanship. Then I went in the Navy, had to write everything in all capitals, and then it just went downhill after that. Tempted. We'll do that here in a little while. Yeah. Not on DDR5 at the moment, though. Dang.
Hey, I'm not either.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So they're not. Yeah, they're saying that Cherry's mentioned they're not on DDR5 yet.
one day, close.
Mm-hmm.
I could feel it in my bones.
It's almost time. I've been talking about upgrading for like 6 months, but
All right.
Well, now they've got the 50 series announcing. Didn't we just hit the 40 series last year?
it feels like it.
Dude, that's cool. It's like a super reinforced PCI slot.
Yeah.
You can like
Wow,
kinda
look at
see-
that.
You can, so reinforced PCI slot means that there will be metal around the PCI slot, but like down in here where the clamp is, they've reinforced the plastic bridge on that too, so that's
Nice.
Oh,
yeah, I
nice.
see
super
that.
stiff. That's nice. Big graphics
Well,
cards
and-
are coming.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So why? Explain to people why that's an important feature for a motherboard.
So that's there, and typically you only see it on the top slot. Like when you're looking down on this, you can see that top PCIe slot has that metal around it. It's a little bit easier to see because it's kind of shiny. And that is because video cards have gotten so big. If you guys watched the show before, you've heard us talk about GPU sag. That's what that is. So that's just making this a little bit stronger to that motherboard just to give it some more durability.
Kev John asks a great question. What screwdriver is that? It seems so fluid and smooth in terms of function.
This is the LTT screwdriver. My best building friend. And we are not going to use a sag bracket with this 4070.
Yeah.
So is this another twin prop on the graphics card?
Yeah, so this is a dual fan
Nice.
from Zotac. Like I said, I can't remember if we've done one of
Some real
these.
small stuff lately.
Yeah, yeah.
I came and
So-
showed you
Yeah.
a single fan last
Oh,
week.
right,
That's
yeah.
what I showed you.
Hadn't seen that in forever.
A single fan for 4060.
Yeah.
Weird. That's like that. Like that 3050. Is it?
Super baby.
Oh, it might be.
I think
Yeah,
that's
it
the
might be
white one.
possible.
The white is the.
Is the
It's a dual fan.
yeah.
It's got two.
One thing I'd love to go back to that shot from the open side is because you can really see that ramp as it elevates up. This is what we consider like a 3/4 build. So the motherboard doesn't sit all the way in the back because you've got that space behind there for the power supply and the two hard drive bays. So Paul, what are some great benefits of having a build like this and design like this?
Yeah, so I think the original reason that it was engineered and designed this way is for the overall look of the build. You don't see your power supply, you don't see any cables, but it does have some practicality as well, whereas like the power supply and your hard drives, they're gonna get air from the backside and it's gonna exhaust out here. So none of that heat is gonna come into the main portion of the case. But other than that, I think it's really just to hide all the cables. We've got these nice grommets that we'll just run our cables through, and I mean, you'll only see a couple inches of each cable, so just looks really clean.
And for those of you who are wondering what this build is, I'm going to just go ahead and post that link in all three of the chats that you can take a look. This is everything that's going to be going inside of it, so check that out. Optimus Prime 1. I am Optimus Prime. What up, dude? This said, will this be able to handle GTA 6? That is an excellent question.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it will. It'll definitely be able to run at 1080, maybe even higher, depending on how intense GTA 6 is.
Let's go back over here to all.
I
All right,
still
so-
want the final release of GTA 5 to just go back to vanilla.
Oh yeah.
Right?
They just delete everything. And it's just
So,
vanilla
right-
GTA 5.
Right now, the baseline for the GTA 6 is a minimum of PCIe 4.0 SSD. For 4K textures, you're going to need an RTX 3070 or Radeon RX 6800 XT class or better. That's interesting. That's just where it stopped. There we go. Yeah, it's 16 should be is the bare minimum for RAM, but 32 is recommended. Wow, that's big. It's gonna be 150 gigs in size. Recommended processor is a minimum of a 12900K or an AMD Ryzen 7 5800. So,
Knocks me out.
but minimum is an i7 10700 or a Ryzen 5 5600.
Oh.
So interesting, very, very interesting. And I'm sure those numbers can always change, of course, as development continues. GTA won't be on PC for years. Interesting. Wally asked a good question. So he said, by the way, the other day I was checking the configurator and I was looking at the performance of some games on different builds, and it showed that some of them ran better on 1440p as opposed to 1080p. Why does that happen?
I'm not sure without knowing the build. Was that on the same game, or were you changing games when you were looking at those settings?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. You're welcome, Optimus. Yeah, I've done Optimus Prime in a couple different things. Radio projects and such. It is what I do. I'm excited, like the first, but of all the games that I've done voices for, again, I'm gonna keep cheering this on this because I'm so excited about it still. The greatest thing that's happened recently is the game that I've voiced 2 characters for. Of all the games that I've voiced characters for, this is the first one that's actually the project completed, and it is published. It's being published, and it's called Wild Bastards, and it's a lot of fun. If you guys want to hear something really funny, a school project I did, you can just Google DJ Blue PDX Optimus Prime press event. We had to make up all of this. We had to make up a scene, and it had to have all these different elements in the story, like, you know, repeated sound effects, loop, voice changer. You had to do at least 3 different voices in there. So, and of course, you had to, solicit the help of our classmates in broadcasting school. So it turned out to be one of the most ridiculous things I've ever done in my life. So now, speaking of ridiculous things, let's talk about that ridiculously good tie-up job that Zach is doing right there. And I just want to ask, because when you open it up, there's already a whole bunch of cables in there. How do you know which ones are going to go where and which ones are going to get bundled up together?
Yes, so I like starting with the case first and getting those as a baseline put down first, essentially. Kind of like what I'm doing here is this, because it has built-in SATAs hard drive bays, we will be plugging all of those SATAs in. So just getting those down out of the way first makes it a lot easier to tie up later in the build.
So that is a very interesting observation there, Wally. So here we go. So Wally's question is, it was on a single build that had better performance running 1440p on certain games. For example, this current build, which, because I sent the link out, runs. So for Dota 2 as an example, it runs at a higher frame rate at 1440 as opposed to 1080, even though traditionally those elements are swapped. The bigger the resolution, the lower the FPS, but that is different here. Destiny 2 and Dota 2 are both showing that. I could not answer you why. More bang, more buck. Damon, yes, I did. Yep, that was me. Yeah. Might be this monitor refresh rate with this graphics card. Oh, that could be it. That might be it. Lod, hi. Lod, no, not yet. We have not announced our winner at this time. We're going to do that here in just a little bit. We like to get a little bit farther into the show. Make sure everybody has a chance to pop in here and see what's going on. Yas. And I'm really excited for December. So, but yeah, I'm wondering if I get something different if I were to just alter this graphics card over to something else.
It is my favorite building season because
still the same
essentially
thing.
I consider once Thanksgiving is 8, and we come in on Friday to start building. I consider all of us to be little elves.
That's right, we are.
Because tis to be the season.
That's right. Got a lot of Christmas gifts that we're working on right now.
All of you parents out there, hide your credit cards.
Right? There we go. Caroline, you mentioned that you're from India. Welcome in. Great to have you. Sorry, but what? Aggressive what euphoria? Oh, yeah. We can talk off stream. The press event is hilarious. Kensu, hello. Yeah, it was one of those things where we bordered on, because you have to fall within regulatory broadcast laws, you know, so the guidelines of things you can say, can talk about, can't talk about. I skirted that line, but never went over it, and we had to listen because the class basically judged everybody's and gave notes back on everybody's. We had to listen to mine twice because we couldn't stop laughing. Yeah, it was absolutely hilarious. Now, the one thing that I did miss, I think we're in the middle of a conversation about other stuff, was the installation of the M.2. I did see Zach do that. And that, of course, is a 1 terabyte ADATA Legend 700 Gold M.2 NVMe. Seeing a lot of ADATAs used lately. Seeing a lot of them used.
Really nice.
Yeah, it's gained a lot of popularity because it's a really fast drive, but it doesn't break the bank either.
So yeah, so far the reviews have been absolutely spectacular. Only twice. Only twice, yes. Let's see here. Strategic Cypher says, I bought my PC from you guys, thought I would be happy with it, but I'm having more fun upgrading it piece by piece. It's fun, especially once you kind of start getting the hang of it and you take a look at, you know, what we do here on the show, and it really starts to become less of a daunting task. Yeah, absolutely. And as far as, we've got a question coming in regarding where I just missed it, about prefer of Intel or Ryzen. And then, have we tried the new Radeon cards yet?
Yeah, we do Radeon cards as well. We have pretty much everything available right now. My personal preference, what I run on my PC, is an Intel, but you know, both are really solid right now.
I rock NVIDIA graphics and AMD processor. I would like to try out the new ARCs, a 770. I think that would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. Now, I like to game on Intel. I like to stream with AMD. So my streaming rig is an AMD build, but it is an NVIDIA graphics card. And then, of course, my build behind me is an Intel NVIDIA. So, what's your favorite color profile to build? All white, black, stormtrooper, rainbow, unicorn?
Stormtrooper's pretty cool.
Stormtrooper's good. I like the whites and the blues a lot. I think that's a good
White
combo.
and green, blue and green,
White and green, yeah.
black and red.
Gonna go ahead and start getting our power supply out and laid out for us. This is the first time I've seen one of these.
Yeah, this is an 850 watt Corsair RMX 850.
Yeah, so I've definitely used Corsair power supplies before, but I think this is their new model of them. This actually feels a little bit smaller. We'll get it out of the bag here and show it a little better.
Mayor Public mentions he's heard nothing. They've heard nothing but complaints about the AM5 platform until this runs hot.
Yeah, we've just heard good things on both. Now both sides are running very hot, and they have been for a while, so it's just kind of something that we've accepted. But yeah.
Let's see here. What's the difference between that one and the X model? I have the X model.
So it's probably just a little bit different hardware on the inside. I don't know the technical specs that are a little different. You can see we've got some rounded edges here, just a little design. Probably just, you know, an updated model.
Nice. Now, this, of course, is a modular power supply. What different types of power supplies are there?
So you've got modular, non-modular, and semi-modular. So modular is one like this, where the cables are all separate from the case. So that's what this bag is for here. Non-modular is just all these cables are soldered into the box itself, so you use what you need, then you bundle up the rest. And semi-modular is some of them are soldered in and some of them aren't. What would you like, Zach? You wanna do a video card? Power. Oh.
Power.
Jared Cabra mentions that X is a slightly higher quality, has slightly higher quality internals and a slightly larger fan.
Yeah, this E feels a little bit smaller. There's always a ton of different models, guys, when you're looking at power supplies. I mean, if you look at the EVGA, you've got, you know, the GT, the G plus, the G numbered. Yeah, I was going to say that.
The G alphabet.
Yeah.
The
so,
BQ.
all have very small differences in them. Really, what you want to look at is obviously the wattage and does it have an 80 plus rating. That's what's important to me.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. Yeah, look at that. It's sleeved differently, which kind of triggers me a little bit, but whatever.
12 volt high power, so you know it's a high power cable.
Yeah, yeah. Just make it look like the rest, you know?
We have 1.4 entries. Wow, dude, heck. Are there any games that you are looking forward to? There's actually a bunch coming up. I'm looking forward to the Destiny 2 expansion. I think that will be an interesting storyline to witness. Literally, because you're destroying the witness.
CPU cables? There's that.
Wild Bastards is another good one. Because
I'm sure this is a single 8-pin, but we'll go ahead and open it up just to see.
Paul, Zach, what games are you guys looking forward to? Oh, yeah,
Man.
Fortnite Lego shocked me.
WoW Classic Season of Discovery came out last Thursday. And keep in mind, I've got 2 kids and a family, and we were just talking about this before this. Since last Thursday to right before the show started, I had 60 hours of playtime in there. So we've been going hard. We hit level 25. We raided last night. Yeah.
Not any of that means.
WoW's my jam.
Cool.
Level cap's 25 now. Traditionally it's 60.
Okay.
So they're doing it like level banding. So you can hit level 25, there's going to be some content out, and then they'll raise it to 40, and then they'll do 50 and 60.
Okay.
So that allows for like them to make like level 25 man raids that wouldn't exist.
Which are
So.
what's going on. Paul hasn't eaten since it came out. That is true. Yes, and you mentioned that Prince of Persia. Absolutely excited for that. I don't know if who here played the original Prince of Persia's.
On like
So
PSP?
I played them back on the 360 and the PS2. So
Jake
but they were
Gyllenhaal?
Rad. Well, that was the movie that wasn't exactly. It wasn't exactly, you know. I don't know. It was cool. It was a good film. I just didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, don't you talk bad about Jake Gyllenhaal. Tell me.
Oh heck no. Am I still coming in quiet for some reason?
I mean, you sound good to me, but
I literally
what's
have my
chat
mic
think?
maxed out. Okay, chat. Is
What do
it?
you think, chat?
Ow.
Yeah, Gage, I went there.
Is yeah, as long as production's happy, we good. Yeah. I think Sands of Time was the really, really long one. So
I
good.
don't know why. I just instantly think of the PSP.
There was a Prince of Persia on the PSP. Yep. So I again miss my PSP. That thing was
I don't
just
think there's
rad.
stickers on those
Now,
fans. But
Yeah, no, they do.
now that is
fancy
of course a
letters.
2-fan RTX. That is our RTX 4070. So now this looks like it's fairly light comparatively, because we've seen some pretty heavy versions of this card.
Yeah, you can go crazy big with this card, but really what we're seeing recently is these smaller versions of the card, which I'm okay with. At the same time, with a big build, it's kind of cool to have a big card to show off, but I mean, this is a 4070. It's a beast of a card. We won't need an anti-sag bracket, which is nice, and a single 8-pin power connector means we only have to route one cable, which I am all in favor of.
Pebbles wants me to do the Optimus Prime voice again.
Do it for the rest of the show.
Autobots roll loud. There we go. So let's see here. Rockstar made GTA 6 for old generations who are now over 20 years old. Yeah, well, God of War was always amazing.
Single cable,
but
that's
yeah,
nice.
You mentioned the Dune game. I'm super excited for the Dune game. I don't know if anybody has seen, because I grew up on the original Dune movie, the David Lynch one, that comparatively now is, it's just different. Lot of monologuing in it. But in the new one that came out with David Chalamet and the whole crew, it's fascinatingly closer to the book. It's a beautiful version of the movie. I'm excited for the second one. Really excited for the second one. Kepjon asks, is Zotac actually that bad? I've always heard they're one of the worst manufacturers compared to others.
Zotac has had a bad rep. I mean, from a while back, but I like them. They've been good. They perform great. We see them all the time. So back when I started, the big card was a GTX 780. And I ran 2 Zotac 780s in SLI, and then eventually got 2 different branded ones and ran them in quad SLI. But no, Zotac's a solid brand. I don't know why people hate on them. I mean, it's the same card as all the others, just with a different cooler on there. So.
So the SLIs, explain to people what that means. I know that means like you've got more than one card.
Yeah. So
how does that help your performance?
So it's not really a thing anymore, but back in the day, you would SLI cards, and so you obviously know how the card goes in. You can see it in there with the slot. Well, you had a tiny little. It almost looked like a little. I don't know how to describe it. The bottom connectors where they go into the slot, it was like a smaller version of that, like a shorter version. And those were on the top of the card. So you'd get a bridge, which was just, a fancy cable.
No.
And you would connect them, and it would essentially run, you'd have the power of 2 GPUs working for you. Now the downside was it didn't combine your VRAM. So like for my 780 builds, I think they were 3 gig cards. And that was top of the line back in the day. So since I had 2 780s that were 3 gigs, even though I had 2 of them, I was still only able to use 3 gigs of VRAM. So it was definitely better than having one, but it wasn't like it doubled your performance because you had double of the cards. Very, very big diminishing returns on that.
Yeah.
And now the cards are just so powerful. I mean, there's not even a SLI slot on them, or they called them NVLink when they were doing it with 10 series, I think it was. I don't know if it ever was a thing in 20 series.
When I was just reading up about it, because somebody in chat mentioned that isn't SLI dead, and I believe the SLI is
it's dead.
is pretty dead. Yeah,
It's dead.
I think the last cards that could do it were the 30 series.
There's some, and I don't know. There's obviously some niche cases like with any industry where it's like, running dual cards is perfect for this crazy scenario. So I'm sure it's a thing you could still find something that has, but the mass majority, it's dead. I'll just say that it's dead.
Just dead. So SLI tends to run weird as hell. I've never done it, but they have to be the same cards to do it, right?
So for SLI, you had to have the same card. So like I had 780s, so I couldn't use like a 780 and a 770 together, but I could switch up my brands. So like I had 2 Zotacs, an EVGA, and a Gigabyte when I was doing that, but they were all 780s. Now, AMD and Radeon had their side of SLI, which they called Crossfire. And what was unique about Crossfire was you didn't always need a bridge. They did have some, but you could use 2 totally different models of cards. So that was kind of cool, but yeah.
Okay. It caused weird graphical issues for you? Interesting. I don't know if it would be worth anything, but it seems like most high-end games need at least 16 gigs of VRAM to run top-notch. I mean, yeah, I would agree.
On the game, but yeah.
I have 24 in that 3090, but now, so let's talk about VRAM, because this, I'm just gonna ask some honest questions because I would love to know. So, what is VRAM and where does it come from? Where is it housed?
So I can actually use our graphics card that we haven't used in a long time to explain this. We're gonna bust out the handy dandy 1050 Ti from EVGA here. So we weren't even planning on this for the show. We just got here. So I used to use this card. This is a dead card out of warranty that I took apart to kind of show how a heatsink works and what your GPU is. So we used to use this as a prop back in the show. If you've been here for a while, you'll recognize this card. So essentially I've taken the screws out of the heatsink. This is your GPU right here. It's just a card, it's very thin. So even if we took the heat shield off the card we installed here, this is what it would look like. Obviously the board might be a little longer, but I'm showing you this because you can see where that thermal paste is. That's our actual GPU itself. But when we're talking about VRAM, this is the actual RAM. So this is a 4 gig card. We've got 4 1 gig memory chips all around the PCB. So our VRAM is stored directly on the card, which means that this GPU can communicate with it very fast. And that's what your VRAM does, is essentially it allows you to store that there as opposed to using system memory. Now it's a lot more technical than that, but that's like my, my base explanation of it.
So then what's virtual RAM?
I don't know what virtual RAM is. I mean, you could have like a virtual machine that you could dedicate some of your system memory to that virtual machine. But other than that, I don't know.
Are you guys using GameDS parts? Pebbles asks, yes, these are GameDS Aeolus M2s. They're great. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, appreciate that, Waleed. Appreciate that.
Oh, there. Let's see. So, for example, that's why I pulled up my task manager because there's the thing. So obviously it's dedicated GPU memory, 24 gigs. And then it says shared GPU memory, 31.9 gigs. Is that coming from my RAM or?
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it's coming from your RAM.
Okay. Because I got 64 gigs there. That would make sense that it would just pull half of it until it needs to adjust that a little bit.
Things have just gotten a lot more complex in a good way now, where everything like all the parts communicate with each other so much more than they used to back in the day. So, which is a good thing. It allows everything to run smoother and get more performance out of it.
And Scott said it does come from system memory. Well, that makes a lot of sense, to be fair. Alrighty. Now, obviously, you can see from here, these, just like Paul was talking about earlier, those back doors that go to there they are, that go to those drive trays.
Yeah, I'll pop this top one out real quick so you guys can see it. I don't know if I'll be able to get the tray out. The screw that holds these trays in is sometimes a little bit more, there we go, than finger tight. Maybe I'm just strong today. So, these are your yes, sir. So these are our hard drive trays, pretty standard hard drive tray right here. You can see the holes. You can put a 2.5 inch or a 3.5 inch in here. And something we do here is, even though this system isn't getting a 2.5 inch or 3.5 inch extra storage, it just has the M.2, we still plug in these hard drive bays. That way, if you, the customer, maybe you've got a drive in your old PC at home that you want to throw in, if you get this, you just have to install that into this tray here, slide it in, and you don't need to run any cables. It'll automatically connect.
All right. Now we're getting those into the bottom tray. Now it's interesting, the thing that this is a cool little feature about the O11s is the tray that that houses the fans. It is just easy to pop in and out. It's a quick in and out. You don't have to worry about taking all 3 of them off if you need to change something. You just pull that tray out. You need to work on your motherboard or anything else. You did not meet the announcement. You did not miss the announcement, but yeah, the winner is going to be coming soon, very, very soon.
Yeah, this case is a joy to build in. Honestly, that I really like it for that. Like being able to just do that and be like, okay, I got all my bottom fans installed, and then I'll just install it as one piece with a couple clips and 2 screws is very nice.
All right. Saw the funniest and most absurd video in a while, and it was some people in Indiana. The river had frozen, and there was this car, and with the river frozen, it looked like it was just an icy street with snow on it. But she was driving down the river in her car. Somehow she got onto the river, not realizing it was a river, and yeah, you hear the ice cracking, and then yeah, her car just dives.
Whoops.
Terrifying. Flippin' terrifying.
She gone.
Yeah. Definitely true. So good question, Esmer. How many zip ties do you typically use in a single build?
A dozen. Depends on how big the system is. Maybe 20.
Yep.
It really just depends on like what kind of cables we're working with, how small the room is, how big the room is. You know, there's a bunch of things that take place, but kind of about a dozen-ish or so.
Uncut Shane asks, so how often do you clean the radiator out when you see the temps go too high? And my question is going to be, are you referring to open loop or closed loop? Because you can't clean out a closed loop. It's an all-in-one. It just works like that until it stops working.
Zombie servers get Velcro.
So is that a lot easier using Velcro on a server?
I use Velcro in servers because when you go from a gaming rig, workstation rig, to a server rig, gaming rigs and systems of the like, their housing that they wrap their cables with is going to be a lot thicker. Like this is a rubber cable on pretty much every housing that's in here. Once we go over to a server, the RAID cables are just the cable wrapped with foil, and then just a clear piece of plastic over the top of it. So you can bend it and put a really nice crease on it, which is not a good thing to do, because you can pinch that cable, especially since it's a data transfer line. That's why the rubber housing is nice. So usually with those, I just do a soft fold and then Velcro around, because when you cinch your zip tie, your edges of your zip tie could possibly cut your cable. But that's because there's no housing around those, so.
I'm gonna jump back over here to the green side. What's the most expensive PC you have built?
That is a good question. We built some expensive ones. The open loops are usually, the most expensive one, unless we're doing just a crazy server. So I mean, we've seen them in the very high thousands. The one we did for Intel Extreme Rig 2018 is a desk that we open looped. It's actually what we're using in production right now. What's bringing this all to you is that PC, and that I believe was upwards of 20 grand, which was pretty crazy. 2 separate systems in one. We had this massive crate custom built with like a rolling dolly cage that the desk sat in. It was cool.
I have built over 20, not a server and not an open loop system. That to get $20,000 without open loop is crazy.
Yeah.
And then I did do that server. I don't even remember the price on that. That I think was around 30.
Yeah.
Just because of all of those hard drives.
Let's see here. What kind of games do you most use to benchmark performance on? Actually, We're going to talk about that in just a little bit because that's actually something that we definitely like to highlight. So we'll get back to that one. But what games do I play the most? You know, it used to be Halo. Then things changed and it became a lot of Rainbow Six Siege and zombie games. I love Dying Light and Dying Light 2. I know Scott Wins and I are jumping back into some Dying Light 2. I think Winter's going to join us today as well. So Dying Light 2 is fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic. Dying Light 1 with all the DLCs was fantastic. Just because I really love the parkour element in it.
I'm trying.
But yeah, games that I can have fun with other people is always like a added value right now. Got it, Scott. All right, so Scott is not playing today. So maybe I'll do some more Alan Wake today. Who the beat? Alan Wake 2 has been really, really amazing. You played and was so scared. You love volatile? Yeah, volatiles are wild. There's a lot of really good. You should play some Genshin addicts like me. I become a Genshin addict. What are the specs for this PC? Let me go ahead and pop that down here for you. There you go. Just follow that link right over there to our website. Makes it super easy. Playing on your 8-year-old laptop? Yeah, that's one of the things I need to do is pull on my old laptop hard drives and just yank all the data off there again. Modern Warzone? Modern Warfare Warzone. Got it. MWZ.
World War Z? It's a good one.
You got the Dead Space remake on sale? Yeah, Dead Space is fantastic. That is a horror show all the way around. I'd like to ask if 7800 X3D and RTX 4070 is a good combo. Good question, Globo.
Yeah, Globo, that is a great combo. That'll work really well there. Yeah, you're going to be able to do anything you want with that, assuming you're going to go with at least 16 gigs of memory with a system like that, which I'm sure you are, probably even 32. Make sure you get an NVMe drive, and yep.
I'm not sure where that noise just came from.
I heard a magical sound.
I heard something too.
It's kicking in.
They're talking to us.
Yeah.
I know, I'm over here like, what happened? Where is it? Is that me?
That wasn't a microdose.
All right. Well, there we go.
Everybody take your
That
medicine.
May have
time.
very well have accidentally been my, I didn't turn off my system sounds. My bad. That's definitely me. Modern Warfare 3 campaign is, you heard the Modern Warfare 3 campaign is horrible? Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I've been a huge fan of the Modern Warfare campaigns. I always have. Same thing with like Battlefield Bad Company and Battlefield Bad Company 2. One of the most underrated games ever, needs a third installment or at least a remake of the first two because it's hilarious. It's a good thing. So, oh, here we go. So Scott Wins asks, here's something funny. The 2060 12 gig that I have is set to medium in the settings for the Dead Space remake. I get 90 frames, but Ultra for some reason is 75 frames constant. I'm confused as hell.
If you have it on medium, you get 90 FPS, but ultra, you get 75 FPS. Is that the? And that
Let's see here. Now
seems to check out. I mean, you're going to get less How I'm reading that is you get higher FPS on your lower settings, which is how it should be. Maybe I'm reading that incorrectly. Doesn't seem strange to me.
That it's a 2060.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
good card. And that 12 gig 2060, that's a newer 2060 to have that much VRAM.
Yes.
So,
yes.
You know, maybe that game's a little bit more VRAM intensive, and you've got the higher VRAM that's helping really take care of that. That would be the first thing that I would think is allowing it to run well.
We have a great question coming in from Globo over here on the Purples, and Globo says, "Will the X70?" Bro, well, let's start with Esber's question because that's going to lead us into Globo's question. Esber asked, "What benefits do the X3D chips have? I heard they're a lot better for games, but why?"
Yeah, so the X3D and what you're looking at there is that 3D. So the X is just their version, means it's unlocked. That 3D is a new way that AMD has starting to put their cache on their CPU dies. So essentially, it's 3D. They're storing their cache on top of. So that allows a lot more physical area for them to put more cache on your processor, and the cache on your processor is essentially like the memory to your system. It is just way fast, kind of like how VRAM works. The processor has a small amount of memory actually on that chip itself. The more that's there, the faster things are going to be. So
yeah. Modern Warfare campaign was the worst when you played. Oh, that is sad to hear.
That is really
very,
sad.
I'm
That's the
really
first I've heard.
upset. All these people not liking Call of Duty campaigns. I burned a disc. I burned a disc in half with a red ring. Wait, no, not a red ring. I lasered it because the veteran mode, veteran mode on that one mission, and just not being able to beat it, and you're just like, all right. And then it just like, your disc is non-readable. I pulled it out, and there was literally just like a perfect ring.
Oh no.
Perfect ring of doing the same level over and over and over and over again.
Dang.
That's why I don't have internet, guys. I'm not good at games.
Yeah, the Modern Warfare campaigns were always awesome. So that's too bad to hear that Modern Warfare 3 is not delivering.
Yeah. So yeah, so I was fine. I'm really jazzed that as of late, the game development industry has really started leaning into cross-platform play. So if you can play with your Xbox friends, your PlayStation friends, your PC friends, I'm really hoping that becomes much more of a standard across the industry. Bort asks, for 1440 gaming, do you think a 5700X is better or the 5800X 3D?
5800X 3D is going to be better in pretty much all situations than a 5700X. Definitely in that one, though.
Got a question about the giveaway build. What would the giveaway build run on the average for cost? That I do not have an answer.
I don't have that information available, but we can get that for you guys. And Global, the 7800X 3D with 32 gigs of RAM. I mean, if you're asking if it's going to stutter, I feel compelled to tell you it obviously depends on what you're doing with it. But that's a very high-end components. You know, you're going to be able to run everything amazing. You're going to get high frame rates in pretty much all settings there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, looking at the time, I'm thinking maybe. Ivory, maybe we tell them who may have won the things.
I think we decided we're just going to announce it next stream.
Yeah, we're going to announce it next stream.
Just kidding.
I thought they were coming to the studio to pick it up.
Can
we start?
All right.
That would be sick.
So here we go. Wait, hold on. Yeah, because we're getting near the finish of our tie-ups, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, you're flying, Zach.
All right. So while Zach is doing that, once again, the winner is going to be winning. This is in partnership with our friends at XPG, Fantex, and of course, A-Data. We were in partnership with Beacon for this giveaway, so you're getting a Beacon mix crate and a Beacon Beacon mic, which are really, really great, especially for streaming. There's that beautiful baby right there. And that is all coming with this, of course, being shipped in a sarcophagus. The giant set wood box that's behind me. They're huge. So, if you're ready, here we go. Our winner on Twitter is different on has a different name on Twitter than they do on Twitch. I refuse to call it X. On Twitch, it is Dented Plate 2017. On Twitter, North_resists. Congratulations, you have 24 hours to notify to get the email from Sirth, otherwise it gets redrawn. So, that being said, congratulations to Dented Plate 2017. Really looking forward to seeing how that works out, and congratulations. But don't worry, we've got another giveaway coming up this month, and who knows, it could be yours. So, yeah, thank you all for sticking it out. Appreciate it greatly. But you don't have a Twitter or X. Let's be entered, but you don't have one. Well, I mean, yeah, it's a thing. So, speaking of things that we want to do, because I want to get back to that question about the testing. So, and how you benchmark stuff, because I remember that was asked. We haven't done that. So let's start by taking a look at how you would go ahead and order a PC from us right now by jumping over to our website. At clxgaming.com, we try and do our best to make it as easy as possible. And honestly, this is one of the easiest configurators I've ever used in my life. It's actually really rad. So it allows you to choose everything from your case to the size. We got big cases, small cases, decorated cases. You've got options for everything from AMD to Intel. Like, look at this. That's the NV7. Absolutely brilliant case. Beautiful design. So you get to choose all of these things, and the best part is you can't screw it up. Okay. So in the event, let's say you choose an Intel chip, but you chose an AMD motherboard, you're gonna get a little yellow button that's up top that's gonna say, like, hey, solve conflict. And as soon as you get that, it'll give you two drop downs, and one's going to say, all right, so you can either choose one of these chips that work with this motherboard, or you can choose one of these motherboards that work with this chip. And then once you get that solved, it goes back to green. You can add it to cart, and it will have no problems with configuration issues while it's in testing, which we'll get to in just a second. But that's not the only thing you can do here. We've also got the option of you being able to choose an open loop or closed loop system. You can choose between overclocking on either your GPU, your CPU, or both, which is awesome. We've got lighting, and the best thing we've got is peripherals, because in the event that you find that you need some updated stuff, we've got, hi Tonzi, what's going on? We've got that, from clothes to chairs to streaming gear, internal capture cards. You can get one of these really cool windbreakers. Like, I love it. This is it is my favorite thing. Who won Dented Plate 2017? I'm assuming they are a Star Wars fan. Dented Plate, yes. So, but don't worry, you don't have to actually build a PC to get one. We have dozens of ready-to-ship models available here, already tested, already to go. And in the event that you want to, maybe customize something or switch something around, then you can do that too. We'll edit that, adjust it, and then ship that on out to you. So, all ready to go. So with that being said, yeah, for all your future gaming needs, head on over to clxgaming.com. They want a high five. Pull up Minecraft from the benchmark configurator when you get a chance and look at the FPS.
I was sticking to my cable.
Uh-oh.
I was just trying to get it away from that.
So for Minecraft, it says, okay.
You're what?
That's a little bonkers. So, if you look at Minecraft with this current build, it says that Minecraft at a 1080 will get 490 frames per second. At 1440, it will get 45 frames per second.
Yeah, let's go.
So, I guess the takeaway is stick with 1080.
Would that, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but
now, the one thing that I take into consideration that I don't know has to be taken into consideration, how old is Minecraft? And how old is 1440p? Was it something that, like, when the game was created, that's what it was, and so, like, it's in the code that, like, it works better at 1080? It can go up to 1440, but you do lose stuff? I don't know.
Are we on Hayden's server where he's got a whole ton of mods?
Oh, yeah.
there we go. Let's do.
This stuff smells good. Every time I use it, I'm like, this smells good.
clean glass.
Electronics cleaner and glass. Yum.
Electronics cleaner for glass.
It actually does smell good. Alrighty.
Let's go ahead and pin that up there. There we go. Yes, we did announce the winner. I just posted it and pinned it to the top of the chat. It's Dented Plate 2017. It was Dented Plate. So congratulations once again. That's an amazing PC. Any new pink PCs made lately? You know, we haven't really done a pink one in a minute.
It's been a minute since I've seen one.
But we do offer them. We offer tons of different designs and styles.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. So, all right. Well, with that being said, it is time to get ourselves into position because this is, we're going to light this up to see what it can do. All right. Let's take a look at this new PC for Alapa in Alaska. Hello, nurse. Look at that. Very, very pretty. The RAM kicks in and there
So
we
quiet,
go.
too.
Yeah, super
So
quiet.
I love the MSI, like the MSI dragon on there. It always looks amazing. So, right, color coding. And of course, we've got that nice bright strip right down there. So let's take a look at what went into this incredible PC. This is a CLX RAW 011 XL build, and it has got an Intel Core i7 14700KF processor mounted on an MSI MPG Z690 Edge Wi-Fi motherboard. It has two 16 gig sticks of G.Skill DDR5 6000 RAM, and of course, it's got that powerful but lightweight RTX 4070 12 gig graphics card. The CPU is going to be cooled by a CLX Forge, by a CLX
Quench.
360 AIO Quench. You know, I had such a good pace going. Quench cooler, and of course, we've got 10 GameDS Aeolus M2 fans that are going in here. The operating system is mounted on a 1 terabyte AData Legend 700 Gold M.2 NVMe, and of course, it's all being powered by that 850 watt Corsair RMX 850. And the thing that threw me off is because everything was in a different order because I was looking at, oh yeah, they also asked for GPU and CPU overclocking. So nice, well done, congratulations. So great build. Now, as most of you know, this show happens in two parts. So in just a few, we're going to take a break. When we come back, you're going to spend the afternoon with Zach as Zach continues to build some amazing things and definitely give you a close-up and show you about thermal paste. I know that was a request earlier, so we'll make sure that we do that on the second half of the show. Now, so with that being said, to keep up with all the great and latest things that are happening with CLX, all you got to do is follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads, or X. I don't want to call it X. At CLX Gaming. You can also join our Discord with a bunch of like-minded PC enthusiasts and gamers at discord.gg/CLX Gaming. You can find our show alive with a focus on Kick on Tuesdays, Twitch on Thursdays. Kick is at CLX Gaming. Twitch is on CLX Gaming TV. And of course, over on our YouTube as well. So, that being said, thank you all so much for watching and stick around. We got more coming up. On behalf of Jason and Kyle in production, Zach and Paul, I'm DJ Blue PDX. Don't go away. We've got more coming up after the break. We'll be right back.
Bye everybody.